Okay, let's jump right into this. If you're prepping for your Florida Real Estate Sales Associate license, you already know the valuation and appraisal section is, well, it's a bit of a beast. It's incredibly math heavy and packed with scenario-based traps. But honestly, don't worry. We're going to break it down visually, step by step, in this explainer so you can secure every possible point. Here's our roadmap for the bootcamp. We'll hit valuation basics, the 3 approaches, sales comparison, cost approach, income approach, and then wrap it all up with a practice quiz. Section 1, Valuation Basics. Let's start with the absolute ground rules of the game. So, before we can calculate anything, what actually is market value? The crucial point here is that true market value isn't just an arbitrary number pulled out of thin air. It relies heavily on the assumption of a willing buyer and a willing seller, operating completely freely in an open, competitive market. Meaning, neither party is under extreme duress, right? No foreclosures, no forced liquidations. It's just the most probable price under totally normal conditions. Now, who actually gets to determine that value? The exam loves to test you on these legal boundaries. Listen, as a real estate licensee, you can absolutely perform a CMA, a comparative market analysis, or a BPO, a broker price opinion, but, and this is a huge but, you can never ever call it an appraisal. Why? Because CMAs and BPOs are just marketing tools. They do not have to conform to the strict uniform standards of professional appraisal practice, known as USAP. Formal appraisals are strictly USAP conforming, and they have to be done by certified appraisers. Don't mix those up on exam day. Okay, mapping out the big 3 approaches to value. You have to know which approach goes with which property type. It's a guaranteed exam topic. The sales comparison approach, that's your bread and butter for standard residential properties and vacant land. The cost approach is for special purpose properties, churches, schools, or brand new construction. And the income approach is strictly for your commercial buildings and income-producing rentals. Section 2, Sales Comparison and Adjustments. Moving right along, let's tackle the exact adjustment rules you need to memorize. If you only write down one thing today, make sure it's this golden rule right here. Always adjust the comparable, never the subject. Seriously, don't touch the subject property. Why? Because the subject property's value is your unknown target. It's the mystery we're trying to solve. You literally cannot mathematically adjust an unknown number. So you must always apply your dollar adjustments strictly to the sales price of the comparable properties. To make this totally foolproof, you've got to burn these mnemonics into your brain. CBS means if the comparable is better, subtract. CIA means if the comparable is inferior, add. Think about it like a balancing scale. If the comp has a gorgeous pool and your subject doesn't, the comp is better, so you subtract the value of the pool from the comp to balance it out and make it equal to your subject. Let's look at this brilliantly illustrated in action. Our subject has an average view. Sale 1, our comparable, has a good view, which the market says is worth $2,500. Because sale 1 is better than our subject, we use CBS, comparable, better, subtract. Boom, we subtract $2,500 from the comparable's price. It is literally that mechanical. Section 3, Cost Approach and Depreciation. Let's see how this approach handles those unique properties where there just aren't any comparable sales available. The cost formula is a super simple 3-step math process. Step 1, start with the replacement cost to new, basically what it would cost to build a structure today. Step 2, subtract the accrued depreciation from all causes. And step 3, add the estimated value of the raw land. And hey, remember, land itself does not depreciate. Speaking of depreciation, you absolutely must be able to distinguish between the 3 specific types on the test. Physical deterioration is just normal wear and tear, like a rotting roof. Functional obsolescence, that's a design flaw inside the property, like a massive 5-bedroom house with only one tiny bathroom, just a terrible layout. Finally, external or economic obsolescence is caused by factors entirely outside the property boundary, like a nearby landfill or a noisy highway. And take note here, external obsolescence is always considered incurable because, well, you can't exactly move the property. Section 4, Income Approach and Multipliers. Now we arrive at the method heavily used for commercial buildings and multifamily apartment complexes. Okay, notice the classic exam trap right here. Both of these multipliers tell you how many times the income a property sells for, but they use totally different time frames. The gross rent multiplier, or GRM, is calculated using gross monthly rent, and it's used for small residential rentals of 1 to 4 units. But the gross income multiplier, the GIM, that uses the gross annual total income, and that's reserved for larger commercial properties. So monthly for GRM, annual for GIM. Do not mix those up. Section 5, Interactive Exam Practice Quiz. All right, it is time for some active recall. I'm going to present 4 scenarios drawn directly from our source material. I want you to literally pause the explainer, solve the problem yourself, and then hit play so we can walk through the rationale together. Get your scratch paper ready. Here is question 1, testing your adjustment rules. Your subject property has 3 bedrooms. A comparable recently sold with 4 bedrooms. If a bedroom is worth $15,000, how do you adjust? Go ahead and pause the explainer right now and lock in your answer. Let's see how you did. You should subtract $15,000 from the comparable. Because the comparable has 4 bedrooms, making it better than our 3-bedroom subject, you use the CBS rule. Comparable better, subtract. And you deduct 15 grand from the comparable's sales price. If you tried to add money to the subject, remember the golden rule. Never adjust the subject. Moving on to question 2, a concept question. A residential home's value drops severely because a county's sewage treatment facility was built directly across the street. What specific type of depreciation is this? Take a moment to pause and classify this loss in value. And the answer is external or economic obsolescence. Since that sewage facility is an environmental force located completely outside the physical boundaries of the subject property, this is a textbook example of external obsolescence. It's totally out of the homeowner's control. Question 3. Let's test your approach selection. An appraiser is valuing a brand new public library. Because it's a library, no comparable sales exist in the market. Which of the 3 appraisal approaches should they use? Pause and make your selection. The answer is the cost approach. Remember that matching game we played earlier? The cost approach is the absolute primary method for valuing unique special purpose properties, like libraries, schools, and churches, as well as brand new construction where real-world comps simply do not exist yet. Finally, question 4, let's do a little bit of math to finish up. A commercial retail center sold for $1.2 million and generates $150,000 in gross annual income. What is the gross income multiplier, the GIM? Pause the explainer and calculate that multiplier. The answer is 8.0. The formula for the multiplier is just the sale price divided by the income. So you simply divide the sale price of $1.2 million by the annual income of $150,000, and you get a gross income multiplier of exactly 8.0. Basically, the property sold for 8 times its gross annual income. You've done incredible work making it through this bootcamp. Honestly, mastering the math, memorizing the difference between GRM and GIM, and drilling those acronyms isn't just about passing a multiple choice test. It's the absolute foundation of accurately valuing property for your future clients. So, I leave you with this. When that timer is ticking down and exam day pressure hits, will you remember to trust the golden rule of CBS and CIA? Keep practicing, and I know you absolutely will.